You know what's funny about this? Everything about Cena, I looked at in this match. He was finding his groove with the heel Cena. You know, obviously that that ended right after this match, but really, when I was looking at the way he was acting, and people were cheering him, by the way, everything from all the moves he did, everything, his facial expressions, that shot, that moment coming up in the elevator with Cody on his shoulders and then just throwing him, tossing him like a sack of potatoes. Cena looked like he was having fun out there. That's what even in a heel sense, the pacing, everything, it just felt, I was like, Cena's still like a top guy. Even if his body is going out, this match said to me like he had some gas left in the tank, and maybe after this match he was sore for, probably still sore now, maybe for another week. But man, that's why the ending, the finish surprised me, and then the Brock thing double surprised me. It was just weird, wasn't it?
We will go just back to Friday.
Can I ask you a question before we go to that? Since Cena was moving so slow and Cena seemed like he was in a ton of pain, do you think there was a plan B that maybe Cena's body's not going to hold up for the rest of the year?
Well, he's only got 15 appearances left till December, I think, in his
still
contract.
A lot when your body's hitting the wall.
Yeah. It was that thing in Unreal where, just very briefly, I think it was in the first episode where he's doing a photo shoot and he's doing the "You Can't See Me," and he said, even that hurts my hip. So, that dude is in so much pain.
Yeah, he still looks great, too. I mean, obviously, as you age and all that stuff, the body's going to take different transformations, but I didn't look at it and say, well, this is the old version of John Cena, or this is John Cena on the last legs of his career. This match really did, like you said, he wasn't moving slow like he did in the other matches. They paced it out. He didn't not take stuff. There were certain things like the diamond cutter. I think Cena might have some neck issues too, because the diamond cutter off the second rope and then even the crossroads at the end, Cena didn't really go all the way over with him, and I think he was feeling some stuff in his spine towards the end.
What do you think of the pacing of the match then? Because, or more specifically, in fact, actually, just before we get to the match itself, WWE's SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown, it appeared for all the world that the interaction with Cody Rhodes and John Cena was, quote-unquote, appearing to turn babyface. I think everybody thought it was a ruse. And it seemed like the most obvious thing going, at the end of the match, something would happen and John Cena would reveal himself to be, the bad guy still. And it wasn't. He just did a babyface turn, which sort of just came out of nowhere, and it's almost like he stuck with it. So what do you think of that creative decision, and why do you think that was made now?
I have no idea. I thought when I saw the Friday Night SmackDown thing that we were going to get Homelander Cody, that we're going to get the double turn. What I thought was, first, when he put Cody over, I was like, is Cena hurt? Is something going on to where he had to drop the belt? What's going on? Then the Brock music hits, and I'm like, well, okay, they booked it that way because obviously if he's that hurt, they're not going to put him in jeopardy to get hurt even more, taking the F5. Then when Brock hit him with it, I'm like, okay, now we got a spinoff of Brock and Cena in Cena's last few appearances or months in WWE. And Brock's back, which means he's going to have to run through a bunch of people. It's got me interested, but it's also got me like, this could be where nobody gets over in the end. Who knows what's going to happen? I really thought what would have been icing on the cake would have been if Brock went to shake Cena's hand, much like the Raw after WrestleMania in Miami, and he hugs Cena, the face change, he kicks Cena in the nuts, hits him with the F5, and Cena's still a heel. That's what I would have thought would have still kept people booing Cena, cheering Brock, instead of cheering Cena, then cheering Brock more when he did what he did to Cena. Very strange.
And also cheering Cody. Do you think throughout the match that Cody was, especially with, he released the turnbuckle and the ropes loosened, and he was, in fairness, he was hitting Cena with the padded bit of the turnbuckle, so it was as safe as it was ever going to get. But then, he was having that conflict within himself that's been going since WrestleMania and not using the belt and will he pull the trigger and all that kind of thing. But do you think he was exhibiting heelish tendencies? Because, once again, the crowd started booing Cody a little bit. And that's where, the same as you, I thought they're going to do the double turn at the end of it. And when they hugged at the end after the match, Cody and John Cena and Cody
I
was
thought
crying.
Cody was going to punch.
Yeah.
I thought Cody's going to kick him in the nuts.
Yeah, it made so much sense. I thought that's exactly where they're doing. Now they've got 3 baby faces on top at the moment.
Here's the issue with that. I think WWE overthought this, overbooked this, and they were trying to get a little too cute with the swerve. The predictable, sudden, unbelievable turn of Cody and then Cena back to babyface would have been enough. Even though, like Dutch said, if people are guessing and predicting it, sometimes you got to give them what they expect, what they want. This was where they kind of overbooked it. Here's an interesting thing here. What if Cena is a babyface and Cody and Brock are aligned and Brock is the bodyguard protecting Cody for the belt? We could still get it on Raw. Who knows?
I'm thinking that it's just going to be John Cena and Brock Lesnar. And, you were saying this beforehand. It's like, well, who does that really benefit in the long term? Because surely, who does it really benefit? You're just like 2 guys who combined age of nearly 100 who've wrestled 100 times before, and we've seen it. There's nothing really new there, and no one's been made from it, I guess.
Well, you figured Cody at least was going to be Cena's swan song storyline or angle going out to pass the torch to Cody, or it could have been Punk once again. Who knows? But that's what I mean. You now are booked in a situation where somebody's got to win, and definitely somebody's got to lose by the end of this if you're going to book Brock versus Cena. But Brock just came back, or is this going to be a Vince McMahon line? Hey, you got to learn how to eat crap, pal. Are they going to make Brock pay a penance coming back to put Cena? Now you're hurting all the business for something that you're trying to teach Brock a lesson? I don't know. There's no good answer except for what we guessed would happen would have been the best thing to happen. Cody heel, Cena babyface. You put Brock in there, maybe Brock protecting Cody.
Hey, I wish WWE would teach me that lesson of making me stay home for 2 years while paying me. When I'd be back, I'm like, where's Tozawa? Pin me every night. Who cares?
I will never learn the lesson. You keep trying to teach me that lesson. You show me, and I'll cash the checks.
Right, let's go back to the match itself then. I think definitely John Cena's best performance, in maybe even years, actually. But especially since, the run in 2025, I think that's pretty absolute. There's one thing, though, that they do in every single pay-per-view wrestling-wise, it seems constantly, is the cavalcade of finishes. It's like, why can't anyone figure out any kind of, final act of a match other than that now? It's always the same thing. The Crossroads is completely useless. The Cody Cut's completely useless. An F5 onto the ramp is completely useless, apparently. Why bother? There are no finishes.
Well, we are getting to that point with the Seth Rollins injury, the WWE Unreal, and now stuff like this where you're not just prostituting your finishes out of WrestleMania every pay-per-view and sometimes every week on TV. So where's the business go now? Because there was a point in the Attitude Era where it was getting so far out of control that they needed to create a right to censor character to bring back the violence and all the other stuff to reset the product. We're not resetting the product. We're going all the way that way. And now this is with the match itself. Let's get back into this just for 1 second. There's so many indicators in this match and the way Cena worked and the way he looked, and he left everything in this match. I'm still thinking, is there something going on physically or medically with Cena where he pushed through this match, the Brock F5 happens, and maybe Cena disappears for a while after this? I don't know. It just felt like Cena gave everything to a point that he was like, I can't give anything after this. Did you feel that?
Well, that it was kind of his swan song.
Like, this is going to be the match that defines me in the end.
Well, felt like. That'll be his last stadium match, I think. So maybe in a sense, you break out all this. If it's not going to be WrestleMania, you do it the SummerSlam Stadium event, which is actually now WWE's third biggest pay-per-view because the Royal Rumble is the second biggest pay-per-view. That's been firmly established.
Is Cena done at the end of 2025, or is the Rumble going to be the last time?
December is his hard out, so he says.
And there is my guess is there's definitely going to be a pay-per-view in December. Or is there another Saturday night's main event where that's going to be Cena's send-off?
Well, it's not going to be Survivor Series because that's in November. I don't even know if they've gone up to December yet. I can find out for you. Just while I do that, one more thing. Through the table, once again, another match with the table involved. The Cody cutter off the top rope on John Cena that eventually led to the final crossroads and then Cody getting the pin. I thought it was a bit almost counterproductive because me and Chris looked at each other and went, what was that and who was meant to be hurt from it? Because they both stood up as well, like straight afterwards. Then Cody did the crossroads and won. And we kind of thought it was a bit anticlimactic.
They definitely took like that bump. Both of them took it awkwardly. Is that what you're saying? It looked
basically,
very
they both sort of go through with their feet, and we were trying to figure out who was meant to be hurt. They both took like a side bump.
Yeah. Instead of him, they're both standing on top rope. He's trying to turn his body, land out flat, and he's going to knock the wind out of himself. And who knows what's going to happen to Cena with that. But yeah, it was almost like when Cena was on the second rope, right? And he was setting up for the crossroads. He had that crisis of conscience, which didn't translate because you're waiting to hit him with a move. This was also, I don't know if it was covered completely in commentary, but watching it back, I'm looking at it, and it's like, it was the old Yeller spot with Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. It felt like that's what they were trying to do. But it just felt like if you were just watching it, like, well, guys, waiting forever just to hit a crossroads. Should just pin him on the other thing. But didn't you get, this is the final moment of Cody and Cena. That's what I think they were trying to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially with Brock coming out. Those two will diverge into their own thing as well. I'm not down on the match, by the way. I thought it was a very good match, especially compared to the WrestleMania match. It came across so much better, and the work was even harder, and they went longer, and it was a great payoff. There's one thing we've got to mention, and as a fellow admirer of of auteurs and camera angles and set stuff like that, and for people who haven't watched it yet, they brawl through the crowd and then they go to the staging area. What happens? And why was that the best part of the match?
Well, I did mention that just a few minutes ago. That was probably my favorite. That was my favorite part of the match, and that moment. And we're going to get to the actual moment. Was when I was like, Cena's feeling it. This is Cena in the groove of the heel run. The comfort, his face, the almost enjoyment of the character that he's playing. They went under the stage. There was curtains there, which is telling because it's usually blocked off with the glass that, this is the same glass or style of glass or barrier that they had at that WrestleMania 17 without the 17 because of the tower thing that was cut down. But when they had the three-way hardcore match, that was kind of the plexiglass type exterior, but we had a curtain now, which led to them getting underneath. And the moment, I think it's the moment of SummerSlam, if you think about it, the elevator comes up first, it darkens and the spotlight goes on there, the fans start to come up, then the elevator slowly comes up with Cody on Cena's shoulders before the attitude adjustment, and then it goes to the full lit stage, and he just tosses him. Dude, this just like, get off me. You know what I mean? It was ugly. Cody took an ugly bump on a ramp that wasn't flat, by the way. It was on a slight decline. That hurts. And Cena was just, dude was having fun at that particular moment.